Have you ever wondered what it's like to break through the glass ceiling in the tech industry, especially in the high-stakes world of cybersecurity? Well, today on International Women's Day, we are going to celebrate the achievements and resilience of women around the globe, transcending divisions of nationality, ethnicity, and culture. And joining me on this very special episode of Tech Talks Daily is Eduarda Camacho, the trailblazing Chief Operating Officer at CyberArk, which is a global leader in identity security. But it's her journey that began by being underestimated by so many different factors, such as her gender, her nationality, and non-engineering background, and how despite all of those things and constantly being told, no, you're never going to succeed, she ascended the corporate ladder and is impacting the global tech landscape. It is nothing short of inspiring, but more than that, I think it is an important story to share all around the world in 165 countries, where I know you're all listening today on International Women's Day. But today she's also going to share her vision and goals for CyberArk, her experiences in a male-dominated industry, along with her insights on the unique challenges that women face in cybersecurity, including some pretty alarming findings from CyberArk's latest research on digital identity and security. And there are a few surprises in there too. But before we get today's guest on, I need to pay the bills. We've got a huge podcast hosting fee to pay for when we're releasing 30 episodes a month. And this month I've partnered with a company called Kiteworks. Now, legacy MFT tools are dated and lack the security that today's remote workforce demands. So companies that continue relying on outdated technology, though, they put their sensitive data at risk. And in a world where digital threats evolve daily, the need for a secure, modern solution has never been more pressing. Well, enter Kiteworks, the beacon of security and efficiency in managed file transfer. And Kiteworks isn't just any MFT solution. With its FedRAMP moderate authorization awarded by the Department of Defense since 2017, Kiteworks sets a new standard for security. And this certification is not just a badge, it's a promise of unparalleled protection for your data, offering a fast track to CMMC compliance and eliminating some of those cumbersome, costly DIY authorization processes that plague so many of the alternatives out there. So please, step into the future of managed file transfer with Kiteworks. You can find out more information at kiteworks.com to get started. That's kiteworks.com to get you started today. So buckle up and hold on tight, because no matter where you're listening in the world, I'm going to beam your ears all the way to Lisbon in Portugal, where today's guest is waiting to share her story. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
Sure. My name is Eduarda Camacho. I'm the Chief Customer Officer at CyberArk. I've been in tech for many years, over 2.5 decades, I would say. I'm Portuguese. I live in the East Coast in Boston. Before I joined CyberArk, I was actually Chief Customer Officer at BMC Software and had other roles, always customer facing, always about really the value that technology can bring to enterprise customers.
Well, I'm really looking forward to talking with you today. One of the things I try and do with every single guest every day is learn a little bit more about their origin story and their background in tech. And you've got an inspirational one. I mean, your journey in tech is both inspiring and pioneering. From my research on you, you were told you wouldn't succeed in tech because of your gender, nationality, and non-engineering background, to becoming the COO of CyberArk. So how did you navigate these challenges and those dreaded stereotypes in a male-dominated field? And any advice that you'd offer to women embarking on a similar path? Because, it feels like such an inspiring backstory here.
Yeah, so it is true. It's a true story, right? I was told all of those things that I could not succeed because of who I am. And I would say the way I've been able to overcome that, and it worked when I was entering tech, and it worked throughout my long career in tech, is honestly just doubling down exactly on the opposite, which is stay true to who you are. And I've always stayed true to myself. And I believe if I would give one advice to anyone and a woman entering tech, it would be that, right? Get to know yourself very well. Ask for help when you need to, but stay true to who you are. I was also told I wouldn't succeed in Japan because of who I was and because being a Portuguese woman. And I was told many other things. And I believe the opposite has proven true. staying true to my principles, who I am, and just be authentic as much as I can every single day with whoever I'm interfacing with, doesn't matter where or who around the world, has proven to be the recipe for success. And I would exactly give that advice to who is entering this world and is facing the same type of challenges.
It's shocking to think of some of those obstacles you came across, but again, so inspiring of you to prove everybody wrong. You shouldn't have had to prove them wrong, but you did just that. And fast forward to present day, you're now the COO of CyberArk, and you play a pivotal role in shaping the company's future. So can you share your vision and maybe goals for CyberArk, especially in terms of driving customer value and outcomes, and also how you plan to foster the adoption of your platform across a wide variety of different industries, right?
Yes, a very diverse industry, growing pretty fast, both in adoption and the spread of identities within our customers, as well as new customer base. I'd say my plans go two ways since I joined here in early January. I'd say one way is true belief in this vision of securing all identities with the right security controls. And that means obviously relentless focus on customer experience adoption across our base. We are heavily investing in our customer success teams and our customer experience teams, working with our partner community to make sure that happens. And at the same time, really starting to design how this organization really can continue to grow and scale, and to scale the business as we move forward here in the next year or two. And, that really goes across everything from go-to-market strategies to customer experience, journey design, adoption, as I said, really all the spectrum together with our partner community to assure we get here really to fulfill our vision, right? That every customer, every identity is secure. That's what we are here for.
Fantastic. And before you came on the podcast, I was doing a little research on all things CyberArk, and one of the things I came across was that your latest research that highlights a significant concern among women about the use of AI by cyber criminals. So for anybody listening, how do you see AI driving cyber attacks this year, and how can such attacks be easily prevented? What are you seeing around this?
I think what we are seeing, in every research, our own and others in the industry, is that for sure a big percentage of attacks are going to be AI based. AI a little bit has given democratized, if you want to use the word, right, that a lot more actors are into play and leveraging the power of AI. It is a significant concern. Interesting enough, it's a concern shared a little bit a different way between genders, between men and women. I think those concerns are very well are founded. And yes, we see in our research what our customers are telling our partners, the industry in general. AI is front and center of the on the attack surface and present in a lot of the new attacks that we see. It is a big concern that the research shows both for men and women, maybe in slightly different ways of where that concern really comes to fruition. They're very well founded. As I said, it's a significant threat to identity security, both in deepfakes and, mimicking user digital behaviors. And I think, all of us are concerned, right? In myself personally, as a woman, I think that's one of the biggest concerns about, AI and attackers impersonating us. It's one of the biggest threats that we are concerned about. And look, it's our mission as an industry, as a company, to keep being ahead of the game, and invest in AI to be ahead of the game and leverage the benefits of it so that we can, we can stay ahead of the curve and help our customers with these new attack vectors using AI.
And it's interesting how you said there that the differences between men and women and their perception of AI threats, for example, because in your research, it also highlights that women perceive their digital identity, including things like pictures and social media profiles, completely differently to men. So in your opinion, What underlying factors contribute to these perceptions, and how should cybersecurity strategies maybe adapt to these gender-specific concerns? Because this is something that took me by surprise.
Yes, it's interesting, right? And that concern around the impersonation is one of the main concerns and one of the biggest gaps, right, between women and men when it comes to that concern. Really seems to come, through this research around this long history of actually being exploited online, right? And we all hear, the stories in social media, and we know people that have suffered those kind of exploits. So it's not really surprising that that is the main concern. I think it's the economists that said like 85% of the women around the world have somehow witnessed online violence or have against other women or know people, inside and outside of the networks. 68% of people that have actually reported instances of cyber attack were women. I think there's a project in Australia that did a study of 4,000 identity theft cases, and 2/3 had been targeting women. So it's clearly that is a very well fundamented concern. And I think, again, as I say, the work of the tech industry and others and governments is really to make sure we are leveraging the power of AI and of tech and of all of our joint communities to be able to address this threat and turn it into something positive.
And I'm curious, with AI's growing role in cybersecurity too, how do you at CyberArk envisage the evolution of digital scams, particularly in those that might be targeting women through impersonation, etc.? Are there any proactive measures that anybody listening can, or even an organization could take to help mitigate these risks?
Again, as our studies show, 9 out of 10 AI attacks are expected to be AI driven. So if we know that, I think there's two aspects here. I mean, one is responsible consumers of technology and others, obviously, to continue to always take the conservative route or take the route of being always attentive, right, to how we share our data and our information. From an enterprise and from a technology point of view, we as CyberArk, but really the whole industry, like that investment in assuring that every new attack method, gets actually anticipated and mitigated by the investment in additional technology and methodologies, and protecting all environments, protecting all identities, protecting really the attackers at the entry stage is what we can do as a cyber community here. And I think, just to end, I think it's all of our jobs, and yours, mine, and everyone else, and all the audience here to be skeptical, right, and to doubt and to protect ourselves.
100% with you on that. And on behalf of any startup founders or business leaders that are listening and exploring scaling and growth strategies, preparing an organization for scaling and growth, obviously that involves strategic planning and foresight. And I'm not sure how much you'll be able to share with me today, but is there anything you can share about some of the challenges that you might have faced at CyberArk on this journey, and also how your leadership is addressing these to ensure this sustainable growth?
Yes. Look, again, on the top of my 2 wonderful months at CyberArk, the company for sure has, it's one of the reasons I joined, right? The company has what I would say, a really very clear commitment. The leadership team, everyone, all the employees, to our culture, to our values, to growing but never losing sight of our purpose and what we are here for, of our obligations to our communities, to sustainability, to really keep the ethics, our employees and their development. So I think, as any startup company, as you in your journey to grow and scale, there's many different facets, everything from, your commitment to your employees and their development, their growth, to your community, to your partnerships, to your customers, to the environment, to staying true to who you are, which are all important. And I think that's something that CyberArk has done wonderfully over almost 2.5 decades. It will be 25-year anniversary here very soon.
Fantastic. And we started the podcast today talking about your origin story and how you were told no at almost every opportunity and so many obstacles in your way. But you proved everyone wrong. But I would imagine, looking back, inclusion and diversity in cybersecurity is a passion that remains incredibly close to your heart. So given your experiences, how do you perceive the state of diversity and inclusion within the cybersecurity industry today? Has it improved? Is there still room for improvement? And are there any initiatives that you think would be essential in fostering a more inclusive environment and bringing more women into the industry?
I think we are far from being at that ideal point, right? Like a lot of other sectors in the tech industry and other industries, we are still far behind in terms of diversity, and not only in gender, but in diversity of thought and diversity of origin. And as I said, my when I was given all of those objections, it was for all types of diversity: origin of country, of gender, and of training. And I think the commitment of everyone to everything from talent development early on to diversity and inclusion policies to just the support to give to the diverse communities, again, not just gender, but all across. Though all of those are going to continue to be important because, again, both the attack threads as well as the diversity that exists across all of our common customer base and partner base needs to be matched with the same diversity of thought from the people creating the methods to prevent those attacks to be effective. And I think I'm a big believer in it. And we'll continue to do what I can to foster that diversity of thought and background.
Yeah, I echo everything you just said there. It's such an important message. And if I was to ask you to look back one more time, of course, none of us are able to achieve any degree of success without a little help along the way. And sometimes that can be someone that just sees something in us, invests a little time or something like that. I mean, if I was to ask you, is there a particular person that you're grateful towards who maybe helped you get you where you are or helped push you forward? Anyone that you could share that we could give a little shout out to today?
Yes, I'll actually leave you two. I would say the first one, for sure, the person that's been my role model always, and I think got me to be a little bit like I am in terms of self-confidence and being ready to to counter all of those objections, which has been my mother. The second person has actually been my sponsor for the last 2 decades in technology and has always believed in me and, give me that extra nudge or opportunities when others said, that I didn't qualify. And that person is actually the CEO of CyberArk, Matt Coman, who I've known and been my sponsor for 20 years.
Wow, that's absolutely incredible. And one of the reasons I always ask that question is I think there's so many people that do help us that see something in us, and they're often blissfully unaware just how much we appreciate everything that they've done for us. And I think it's such an important message. So thank you so much for sharing that with us today. I hope both of them are listening. But before I let you go, for anyone listening wanting to find out more information about CyberArk, is there any way you'd like to point everyone? Well, obviously we've mentioned that latest research and the report, etc. Where would you like to point everyone listening?
CyberArk has great, channels, blogs, and really all the latest information in the YouTube channels, in the CyberArk page, and in so many other places. And I'm sure for anyone that is looking to get the latest, understand our latest research, blogs, you can find us there for sure.
Well, as I've said a few times today, especially as we're on the run-up to International Women's Day, for being told as a woman and an engineer you're not going to be a success in your first tech job, to climbing your way up the corporate ladder, working all around the world, sharing your advice. Absolutely priceless. And I cannot thank you enough for not only sharing your story, but for hopefully inspiring a lot of other people around the world. And that could be women, that could be people from a variety of different technical backgrounds and geographic locations. But thank you for sharing that story with me today.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you, everyone.
For me personally, that was both an enlightening and inspiring conversation in equal measure. I think it's so important that Eduarda shared that incredible journey in tech, but also delved into some of the pressing issues of cybersecurity, AI, and the importance of diversity and inclusion right across the tech industry. And for me, I think Eduarda's story is a testament to the power of authenticity, resilience, and the critical role of women in shaping the future of technology and cybersecurity. But as I reflect on today's discussion, I ask you now to consider what steps you can take, that we can all take, both individually and collectively, to foster a more inclusive and secure digital world. What actions will you take to contribute to this change? Please share your thoughts with me today. Join the conversation in honouring International Women's Day by emailing me, techblogwriter@outlook.com, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, just @NeilC.Hughes. I'm nice and easy to find. Send me a quick DM, as long as it's not a sales pitch and you've got something you want to say or a question you'd like to ask or a pitch to come on the show. Whatever it is, I will get straight back to you. But remember, every step towards inclusion and diversity is a step towards a stronger and more resilient tech community. And while we all ponder on that comment, I will bid you farewell and see you bright and early tomorrow morning for another inspiring story like this one.